Hey guys, I'm back with a second video today, but this one will be a short one, and it's about the booktube event called Short Story Summer, which I will participate in. I don't usually do many booktube events, but this one is fun, and there's a bunch of people that I follow that is participating in it. Randy Ray, Steve Donahue, another bibliophile reads, and probably a bunch of others. Hannah's books is in it as well. And I just only recently really got into short stories. I haven't read many of them except for some science fiction ones that I read many years ago by Isaac Asimov. I thought those were great. But then for many years I just never really got into short stories. But that changed quite a lot, I would say, after I read a particular collection of short stories, and it's this one. It's all Flannery O'Connor's fault because her short stories are magnificent. And if you haven't read them, I would think this is a good candidate to read during short story summer. So I'll just talk a little bit about what I will be reading because I am right now very much exploring Southern Gothic literature, Southern literature, American Southern literature in general. I'm right now reading a nonfiction sort of biography style book about Flannery O'Connor called that's a new release from 2026 called Flannery and Regina, which is very good. And I've read a bunch of other Southern Gothic books lately, and I want to tie in the short story summer to my ongoing reading project about Southern Gothic literature. So the books that I'm considering reading for this short story summer for me is Erskine Caldwell's Men and Women, which is 22 stories that has been specifically curated by A. Carvel Collins. Now, Erskine Caldwell, this fine gentleman here, wrote more than 150 short stories in his lifetime. So this is a sort of selection. I think around a certain thematics about men and women. Caldwell is most famous for Tobacco Road, which I really, really liked, and for God's Little Acre, which came the following year, and that was even better, I think. And he's really a Southern grotesque writer, in particular in Tobacco Road. And he was active in the 30s and 40s. He also did nonfiction. He was a journalist. He did war journalism in Russia during the Second World War. So he's a pretty prolific writer, and he was immensely popular in his day, and he has then mostly been forgotten. But I will be reading this collection here in August for Short Story Summer. And another Southern writer that I will also be reading, and that I haven't read before, is Eudora Welty. And this is her collected stories. I think this is all of her short stories. I could be wrong, but it's a pretty huge collection. I think it's actually not more than about 600 pages. It just looks a bit like a bit more. Maybe the pages are thick, but yeah, I thought it was like 800, but it's about 600 pages and all of her short stories. And she's one of the second tier, or it sounds wrong, but less famous Southern writers. The Southern Gothic genre is really most known, I think, for William Faulkner and Flannery O'Connor. But there was obviously a bunch of other writers, and I'm having a lot of fun exploring some of them. I will also eventually get to Faulkner, and I do have a big 1,000-page collected short stories of William Faulkner. But based on recommendations, my first Faulkner will be As I Lay Dying. So I don't think I will be jumping into his short stories for this event here in August. I might do that if I feel like it, but I don't read as much and as quick as a lot of these guys that I just mentioned that are participating in this event. So if I manage to get through these two, I'll be quite happy. But if you like me haven't really given a lot of attention to short stories in your reading life, then yeah, this is consider this a call to action and do it. I think you'll find it rewarding. So yeah, that's all for now. Thank you and see you around.